Ayam Guru Tata unmucha
bhavam asuram unmucha
yatusya chadukshadaha
yayatusya chadukshadaha
yatusya chadukshadaha
yayatusya chadukshadaha
asmat sarveshu bhuteshu
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
ayam kuruta saridam
ayam kuruta saridam
bhavam asuram unmucha
bhavam asuram unmucha
yatusya chadukshadaha
yayatusya chadukshadaha tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kuruta sauhridam dayam kuruta sauhridam bhavam asuram unmucha bhavam asuram unmucha dayatusya chadukshadaha dayatusya chadukshadaha
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
dayam kuruta sauridam
dayam kuruta sauhridam
bhavam asuram unmucha
bhavam asuram unmucha
yayatushyati adoksaja
yayatusya chadukshadaha tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kuruta sauhridam dayam kuruta sauhridam bhavam asuram unmucha bhavam asuram unmucha dayatusya chadukshadaha dayatusya chadukshadaha
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
dayam kuruta sauridam
dayam kuruta sauhridam
bhavam asuram unmucha
bhavam asuram unmucha
yatusya chadukshadaha
dayatusya chadukshadaha
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
dayam kuruta sauridam
dayam kuruta sauhridam
bhavam asuram unmucha
bhavam asuram unmucha
yayatusya chaduksaja
dayatusya chadukshadaha
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu
ayam kuruta saridam
dayam kuruta sauhridam
bhavam asuram unmucha
bhavam asuram unmucha
yayatusya chaduksaja
yayatusya chadukshadaha tasmat therefore
sarveshu
sarveshu
to all
to all
bhuteshu
living entities
I am
merciful
kuruta
sure
sauridam
friendliness
bhavam the attitude
asuram
of the demons to separate friends and enemies unmucha giving up by which tushyati is satisfied adokshadaha the Supreme Lord who's beyond the perception of the senses. Translation. Therefore, my dear young friends born of demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. Give up your demoniac nature and act without enmity or duality. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well-wishers. Purport. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:55, one can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. Prahlad Maharaj ultimately instructed his class friends, the sons of the demons, to accept the process of devotional service by preaching the science of Krishna consciousness to everyone. Preaching is the best service to the Lord. The Lord will immediately be extremely satisfied with one who engages in this service of preaching Krishna consciousness. This is confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 1869. Nadya tasmin manushishu kastin priyakritama. There's no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. If one sincerely tries his best to spread Krishna consciousness by preaching the glories of the Lord and his supremacy, Even if he's imperfectly educated, he becomes the dearmost servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is bhakti. As one performs this service for humanity without discrimination between friends and enemies, the Lord becomes satisfied, and the mission of one's life is fulfilled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore advised everyone to become a guru, devotee, and preach Krishna consciousness. Yare Deka Tara Kaha Krishna Upades. That is the best way. That is the easiest way to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By such preaching, the preacher becomes satisfied, and those to whom he preaches are also satisfied. This is a process of bringing peace and tranquility to the entire world. Bhaktaram yagathavasam sarvalokam maheswaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim ruchati. One is expected to understand these three formulas of knowledge concerning the Supreme Lord, that he is the supreme enjoyer, that he is the proprietor of everything, and that he is the best well-wisher and friend of everyone. The preacher should personally understand these truths and preach them to everyone. Then there will be peace and tranquility over the world. The word sauridam, friendliness, is very significant in this verse. People are generally ignorant of Krishna consciousness, and therefore to become their best well-wisher, one should teach them about Krishna consciousness without discrimination. Since the Supreme Lord Vishnu is situated in the core of everyone's heart, everybody is a temple of Vishnu. One should not misuse this understanding and as an excuse for such words as Daridra and Narayan. If Narayan lives in the house of a Daridra, a poor man, this does not mean that Narayan becomes poor. He lives everywhere, in the houses of the poor and those of the rich, but in all circumstances he remains Narayan. To think that he becomes either poor or rich is a material calculation. He is always Shat Aishwarya Purna, full in 6 opulences in all circumstances.
Jai.
Jai. Tasmat sarveja bhuteshu dayam kuruta sauridam bhavam asuram unmujjaya taduksharaha. Therefore, my dear young friends born of demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. Give up your demoniac nature and act without enmity or duality. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well-wishers. Om Magyānatamandasya Gyanananasakya Chaksunhitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Hangum Nahangayati Grim Yat Kriva Tadaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Sri Madhbhaktivedanta Swami Sanam Namaste Saraswati Devam Gaura Manvikrachayani Nirvishri Shunyavati Satyatani Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Shunyaveda Patitanam Yoga Vaishnava Yoga Maha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we continue Prahlad Maharaj's instructions, and basically he's giving like the essence of instruction in this verse, as well as in all the other verses. But it's very much the essence that we should simply act in such a way that Krishna, he is pleased with us. That was also Bhakti Saraswati's general advice to everyone, to his disciples, that we should not try to see God, but we should one should not try to see God, but one should act in such a way that that God wants to see us. And that's actually Bhakti Saraswati made a whole essay explaining that. And actually, the point is, we are not the seers, we meant to be the seen. Just like when we come in the morning and we have darshan of the deities, we're not really there to see the deities, we're there so they can see us. And there was even one instance when Dr. Saraswati was there and he didn't have his glasses on and he couldn't, he couldn't really see the deities. And then someone pointed up to him and said that it didn't matter. He was there so they could see him. Not that, it pleases the Lord when the devotees comes in front of him, just like when the children come and to the parents, and the parents are very happy to see their children. So Krishna is very happy when he sees devotees come. Of course, then we have to actually be devotees. We cannot just appear in any shape and form and dress and and so on. And that will not complete, but we should behave in such a way and in all ways. So actually, Krishna is happy to see us. That is perfection of life. And it's simple. It's very simple, but it's profound. It is really profound thing, because generally we try to see God, and here the word is used, adokshaya. Well, it's going to fail because he cannot be seen. He's beyond the perception of the senses. He can be seen if he pleases to show himself, and he's happy to show himself to devotees, but not to someone who's not a devotee, who doesn't have the right mood. Then he doesn't show himself. Then he is adokshaya, beyond the perception of the senses, of the material senses. And it doesn't matter how much we stretch our eyes, we will not see God, or how much we stretch our mind and our brain to understand Him. We will not understand Him, we will not see Him in that way. But if we simply learn the art of acting in a way that He is pleased with us, then actually that is perfection. And then we will actually always see Him, or always be conscious of Him, always be, Krishna is not different from His name, His form, the thought of Him. If we are thinking about, how should I behave at this moment, so Krishna is pleased with me, that means actually one is Krishna conscious, then one is with Krishna at that moment, one is associating with Him in that very moment. And that's that's a whole secret. Bhaktyamam jnana tiyana yaskasmi tatmataha tato mam tatmate tato gyatva vijate tanantaram. That one can understand me as I am, Krishna says, by devotional service. And devotional service means acting in a way that is pleasing to the Supreme Lord at this very moment. And the amazing thing is that even though He is beyond the senses and inconceivable, but also He is, He's present right here with me. He's a person who's closest to me at every moment. That's the mystery of Krishna. We cannot see Him, and for non-devotees, He's, the atheist who even are convinced He's not there, and cannot conceive how God can exist. And there are pious people who think that God is there, but He's very far away, and He's the one who's somehow or other mystically supplying our needs for our materialistic living, but God is not really part of my absolute life, of my, you might say, close circle of friends and relatives. Pious people, many pious people, they are God, aware of God is there, and know that one should act morally and so on. One should pray to God, because otherwise, He's the one who's supplying us. But really, like a personal relationship, that's not necessarily there. But for the devotees, actually, Krishna is more than just a supplier and so on. He's actually there as the very closest friend with one all the time. The devotee has a personal relationship with Him that's actually, Krishna is far away, but he's right there for the devotee. He is there moment to moment, acting as the closest friend, well-wisher, always there. And Prahlad Maharaj is pointing out, and it's so simple. We think it can be complicated, and I'm so fallen, and I'm filled with material desires and so on. But still, it doesn't restrict Krishna. Prahlad says it's simply learn just to act in such a way that Krishna, he is pleased with what we do. Every moment from moment, just be conscious of how, and ask yourself, how does Krishna want me to, what will please Krishna at this moment? And what is interesting here is actually, but how do I know what pleases Krishna at this moment? And of course, it takes training. To be a devotee means to become actually trained in devotional service. Guru is needed, Shastras are needed, teachers are needed, and so on. You need to be trained to actually know what pleases Krishna. But also, if one has this mood, and is situated in being properly trained and having knowledge of Krishna, a devotee like that, even let's say someone at our level, not at all speaking for myself, pure in any way and so on, but still, I can ask myself, what does Krishna want? And you tell him. And I think that goes for all. It's actually, Krishna will, at this moment, what will please Krishna at this moment? Well, it's Bhagavatam lecture. So what pleases Krishna is that we are, listening to the Bhagavatam, and we try to, the speaker try to say something interesting, and with realization. The listeners try to, hear, concentrate, and understand, and that pleases Krishna. It's not difficult. Like moment for moment, it's like not difficult to understand what will please Krishna. Krishna is there. He is the super soul. He is there, guiding us, telling us from moment to moment. And if we actually are asking him from moment to moment, we will get clear guidance. What is pleasing? At least, a very practical thing. Then, of course, that doesn't mean that we don't need guidance from guru and elders and devotees and shastra and so on. We need it all, but Krishna as himself personally there is also constantly involved in our lives if we allow him to be involved, if our mood is to act for his pleasure. If we turn around and I become the center, and now it's about my pleasure, my satisfaction, well then Krishna, he becomes very distant. Immediately he is distant, and we feel probably even lost and confused or lonely and so on. But that's because we put ourselves in the center. If we put Krishna in the center and think of what will please Krishna, then we are always in a very sublime Krishna conscious state. And as Prabhupada says, life becomes the thrill at every moment. Doesn't write that somewhere? Where is it right there?
Yeah, I remember having read that.
What anyone knows? What is it? And life becomes a thrill at every moment. Sometimes we think, it's just boring, we have to kill time. Which is a joke, we cannot kill time. But time will kill us. That's what you're thinking, what to do, what should I life, but that is not in Krishna consciousness. You don't have the feeling of being bored and meaningless and just another gray day or something like that. It's not there. One actually enjoys life with a thrill. Not sometimes, but every moment. That's probably he writes like that. Not every something, but every moment it's a great thrill if one is just thinking about how can I please Krishna. You can find where it is, but it's one of these brilliant pearls of Prabhupada that he writes. So, and what pleases Krishna? I mean, that Krishna will tell us, he will guide us, and then also, of course, here in the purport, Prabhupada talks about what pleases Krishna the most. Many things are pleasing to Krishna, just the fact that we are, thinking of him or trying to become a devotee like that pleases him. But if you want to please Krishna the most, then Prabhupada points out, then preach to others. Try to be a friend of all living entities. That is actually the essence. One should be a friend and friendly to all living beings. It's not possible to please Krishna and be inimical to other living beings. That's a kanista mentality, the neophyte mentality, that I worship God in the temple and so on. But when it comes to dealing with other living beings, then that's a complete different story, and I'm harsh or envious or violent and proud and exploitative. Is that correct? Exploitative. Exploited? Not exploitative.
Exploitative.
Exploited. Okay, thank you.
It doesn't matter.
It does. You can say both.
I think you can say both. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'll have a dictionary ready in a second.
You get the idea.
So, because actually the real art of pleasing Krishna is being honed and developed in one's dealings with others. And there, of course, one has to also understand, one has to discriminate how one deals properly with others. Actually, being merciful to living beings is not a universal principle. Probably he writes that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the discussion of Buddhism. And there's a long purport where Prabhupada he goes through the 9 principles of Buddha, or of Buddhism, and he defeats them. And there's one principle that wants to be merciful, and Prabhupada says this is not an absolute principle. You know why? Because it's not everyone we should be merciful to. We need the mercy of some. Those who are our superiors are not objects of our mercy. We are objects of their mercy. And then it's indiscriminately